day I wake up, I'm just like blown away by the beauty of where I live and the surroundings, how quiet it is here. So beautiful that you can't put a price on this. Like how do you put a price on happiness? And how do you put a price on serenity and solitude? So yesterday I was out pulling some wood and it was snowing a little bit, but not that much. Like, I don't know, we maybe got another inch or so of snow. Today, I think we got another 6 inches. In some areas, the snow is a foot or better deep. I absolutely love this. Moving to Alaska was by far my best decision ever. I mean, outside of my kids, of course. And I know people have been curious about, how much did I pay for my property? And sometimes I get the comments about, I hope you got it for a steal. And I'm not going to divulge what I paid for my property, but I will tell you that you can't put a price on this. Like how do you put a price on happiness? And $1 million views. I mean, luckily I didn't pay $1 million or anywhere close to that. But I also did my research. I researched what it was going to cost me to buy raw land that would require clearing, putting in a drive, building a cabin of various types, even living in a wall tent for a while was an idea, and putting in any infrastructure that I needed, right? Like having a well drilled, having electric run to the property, having solar put in, things like that. And what I figured is that what I paid for this property would have been equal to, if not less, than having bought raw land and having to do all those other things. And where I live, there's no taxes. I don't have property taxes. I don't have sales tax. I don't even have a state income tax. So, that and not having any ordinances or, a government truly telling me what I can and cannot do on my property made that decision for me too. So when I think about it, it was worth every penny I paid for it. And I knew what I was getting myself into when I bought this property. The things that I've had done already to the cabin, which I'll leave a full playlist at the end of this video so you can check it out. But the things I've already had done to this cabin and the things that I plan on doing in the future, none of those were surprises to me after moving in. I want to walk the property because, well, first off, I just love the snow. And second off, I haven't had a chance to really come outside much. I've been so busy for the last couple months doing things around the cabin and what have you that I haven't taken the opportunity to just be outside. And it's about 20 degrees out here right now, so the weather's not too bad. But yeah, I figured I'd take the day, take you along, talk to you a little bit. I'm so thrilled with the snow though. My driveway, and I think it's absolutely breathtaking. And even though all the color is gone from the palette this time of the year, it's basically just a sea of grayscale. Oh, it's breathtaking in my opinion. In the summer, I have the mountains behind me. On a clear day in the winter, I have the mountains behind me. But even on a day like this where it's overcast and snowing, and all I have is this black and white palette, I'm absolutely in love. I bought this property to live out the last of my life here. And I pray that it is a very long and prosperous life. But I would rather be here, even if I'm suffering, than be in the city or be in the hospital or a nursing home or a rehabilitation center, for physical therapy suffering. Be comfortable in my own home. And in case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm a pretty strong-willed individual and pretty capable. And as long as my health remains, and my cognitive ability remains where I'm able to stay out here by myself, that's what I plan on doing. Good or bad, this is the life that I chose, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. I know lots of people that lived out their last days living alone in the woods or in the countryside. Watch Northman. That's the life I want to live. I believe that modern conveniences, while they're nice, they tend to allow me to become lazy. And I don't like being lazy. I like staying busy. I like working with my hands. I like accomplishing things. And yeah, my way of life does take a bit more effort and a bit more work to live. But honestly, I'm not afraid of hard work. I actually would prefer that I have to put in some effort to get things done than just to have it be ready at the snap of a finger or with the aid of a modern convenience. And so I love, being able to spend my time doing things and know that I can maintain things on my own and that I can repair things as need be. But if I was reliant upon modern technology, I wouldn't be able to do that because I don't understand electricity or electronic components. Mechanical things I can wrap my brain around. Mechanical things I can fix, and I can use some ingenuity to repair. I used to be a mid-level manager over a multi-state region for a Fortune 50 company. And I worked harder at that than I do at this, by all means. This is enjoyable work. This is work that I can get behind and I can feel good about at the end of the day because it's work I'm doing for myself. Where when I worked for the Fortune 50, that was work I was doing for some corporation that honestly didn't give any care to me or my well-being. They make it seem like they do, but it really is just a pair of golden handcuffs. We promise you more so that you'll stay and you'll put in the work. But in reality, the more we give, the more we want. And that's not the lifestyle I wanted to live. I wanted to live a lifestyle where the effort that I put in was going back into my life. I reap all the rewards of this lifestyle. And I'm not reliant upon somebody else to determine whether or not I'm worth those rewards. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, every week. I was raising my kids, and I didn't even realize how the years were slipping by. I just let time go. You become so wrapped up in your day-to-day that you forget to live your life. And what really made it sink home for me was there was one Christmas where I was at my parents' house, and the whole family was there, and I was working during Christmas at my mom's house. And I was so focused on work that when one of my children came over to talk to me, I snapped at them. And because I snapped at them the way that I did, I actually offended not only my child, I'm sure, but I offended some of my family members who, they couldn't understand why I would put work before downtime and relaxing and what have you. And the problem is that I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was so wrapped up in making sure that my boss was pleased, making sure that I was on task all the time and meeting deadlines and objectives and what have you, trying to further my career, that I put my family and myself on a back burner. And that's not always a good thing, trying to keep up with the corporate world. Now I work for a small mom and pop operation, and it allows me to have some flexibility in my life. It allows me to feel actually that I'm accomplishing something in the day. I actually like the job I have. I can stand behind the company that I work for, the products that we produce. And the main point of this is, though, is like during this time of the year, it is a time of reflection. And it's a time to think back over where we've been and what we've done and where we're headed. One of my viewers, Grounded Starseed, recently reminded me of that. I was watching one of her videos and where she was talking about leaving the corporate world herself and finding her own path in life. You know, making sure that she's grounded in her thoughts and her beliefs as opposed to somebody else's. And I just thought, you know, I'm so glad that I made the decision that I made to live the life I want to live and do it the way that I want to do it and not have to live up to somebody else's ideals or put up with the golden handcuffs that the corporate world places upon people. The demands that this lifestyle puts on me are inconsequential compared to the rewards that this lifestyle is offering me. I'm tickled pink to have bought this cabin and to live here in the solitude and the serenity that Alaska is offering me. It's amazing. But back to Grounded Starseed. She herself is a talented artist. And she, I think, made the right decision in leaving the corporate world and pursuing her own dreams and putting her efforts to work for herself. And like I said, she is a talented artist. So let's head inside. Let me warm up just a bit. And let me show you some of her artwork, because she actually sent me some a few months back. And I didn't realize when she sent them to me that she actually had a website. So I'm going to share that with you, but let's head inside and I'll show you exactly what Grounded Starseed has going on. Aren't these absolutely beautiful? I was telling you, Grounded Starseed, her name is Abigail, but the name of her YouTube channel is The Grounded Starseed, and she does a fabulous job. And I used to work in the greeting card industry, and to be honest with you, her cards rival anything that's been professionally manufactured. In fact, what's really nice about her cards is not only does she professionally package them and she includes a bookmark with each one of her greeting cards, but it's the quality of the paper that she chooses. Not only from the cardstock in which her artwork is, you know, professionally displayed upon, but also the Japanese papers that she chooses to make all of her beautiful artwork from. And I absolutely am a fan of hers. She sent me these a while back, and I guess I just didn't realize at the moment that she sent them to me that she actually had a business card, or that she actually had a website, even though her business card was included with it. Sometimes I get a little wrapped up in my own world, and I just wanted to share that with everybody because she does such beautiful, beautiful work. And I myself am a huge fan of Japanese art. I have some other Japanese artifacts in my home. So one of the pieces of Japanese furniture that I have is this kotatsu table, which, if you're not familiar, is a table with a heat element in the center of it. And that heat element allows one to sit here with their legs tucked underneath the cover and to stay warm while they eat a meal or, you know, perform a task. In my case, I'll be rebuilding my lamp. So this is my favorite lamp. It was given to me by my grandmother, and I'll be employing a Japanese technique where you rebuild the pottery and then you fill in the cracks with gold. So you turn something damaged into something that's very beautiful. And this is something that Grounded Starseed does in her videos as well, at least in some of them. So again, check out her channel. I highly recommend it. I'll leave a link to her channel at the end of this video, as well as to her website, so that you can get some of her wonderfully made cards for yourself or for, the holidays. It's not too late to get Christmas cards, I would assume. And I want to thank her for sending me these, because I actually am going to frame these and put them up on my wall. I really appreciate it, because I do not possess that kind of talent. I tried to make a snowflake for Christmas because I want to decorate the cabin. And, the old-fashioned kind that you cut out with scissors. But unfortunately, this is what I came up with. I don't think I did it right. What do you think? My kid said this is the modern version. But all joking aside, I am going to decorate the cabin, and I hope that you'll come along with me as I share with you some other things that you might not know about me. And I'm going to share with you a quick little recipe for an adult beverage. Now that I've got some Christmas music playing in the background, I'm going to head outside and I'm going to cut me down some spruce boughs so I can decorate and add a little greenery to the inside of the cabin. These smell amazing. I should do this more often. Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful. So that little snap you saw, yeah, that's about as much dancing as you'll ever see out of this girl. I am not a dancer. I don't have any rhythm. I cannot sing to save my life, and I have no skill there either. So, but one other thing that typically you would never see me do is what I'm about to do now, and that is decorate for Christmas. I have not decorated my home for the holidays for many, many years. As I've said previously, when I was working in the corporate world, I was putting in so many hours that I just didn't have the time to decorate for the holidays. And I wasn't one to want to put up decorations and then have to take the energy or the time to take them down, shortly thereafter. And so I just quit doing it after a while. And my kids and my mom are probably watching this video raising an eyebrow and saying, "What? Mom's actually decorating?" Yeah, I'm decorating. So part of it is I do have the time now. I am living a bit of a slower life, and life is a bit simpler. And so I have the availability to do this. I have the availability to take the time to enjoy these little moments. During these winter months, the drapes are all closed. I have insulation in the windows. And so I really don't have a view outside, and I'm actually missing it. That's why I spent so much time outside earlier talking, is because it was like, I miss being outside. I miss not necessarily the sunshine, if you will, but I do miss being able to just be outdoors. And that's why I'm going to bring in just a bit of the outdoors inside. And so I'm not going to put up a whole lot of decorations. There's a couple other things that you guys probably don't know about me that you've probably been wondering about over the course of my time here. And one of those is that, I've mentioned that I have an allergy to garlic and onions But I also have an allergy to the sun. So, I'll let you figure that one out, put two and two together, if you will. No, I'm kidding. But in all honesty, I am allergic to the sun, which is another reason why I don't mind these cold and dark days, because it means I can be outside without having to have so much sunscreen on. My sun allergy is actually hereditary. It is a recessive gene that hits every other generation in the family. And so my children don't have it, but my grandmother had it. And chances are that one of my children's children, or all of their children, potentially could have it as well. And so if you have seen in some of my previous videos where I look completely white, completely washed out, it's because I have to wear such heavy sunscreen that it's just very, very whitening. So, like I said, though, days like this where it's overcast, as soon as I see cloudy skies, as soon as I see overcast in the forecast, I just think play day. Because when I was a kid, it was typically, I didn't go outside to play if it was very sunny, because I would immediately burn and blister and break out in hives. And this way, when it's cloudy, I could be outside and enjoy the weather and what have you. So to me, rainy days, cloudy days instantly equates to play date in my head. And so I'm definitely a winter fan. So I don't mind, 9 months of winter. Yeah, so English is not my first language. I'll just put that out there. So my first language is gibberish. I am fluent in it, and so every now and then you'll hear that come out of my mouth. In all honesty, though, I am actually have a speech impediment, and I spent 10 years of my education in speech therapy, learning how to speak English properly. I almost didn't start a YouTube channel. I know everybody says that they did it for their friends and family. And for me, that really is the case. I actually didn't think anybody would want to watch me. So it wasn't like I started this because I thought, I'll be successful at this, or this is something, that I'm looking forward to doing, or what have you. To be honest with you, I'm really shy. I am incredibly shy. That's one of the reasons why, I live alone in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, super shy. But I did do it for my family, because I wanted my family to be able to have a glimpse into what my day-to-day life was. I just never thought all of you would join me on that journey as well. So very thankful that you're all here. Very thankful that you're watching my channel and that you're getting to share along in my journey, and that I've made friends out of doing so, right? Out of sharing my experiences with you. So thank you for those of you who are following along. And, if you are watching this video now, I hope that you've subscribed, and I hope that you'll hit that like button because it does help YouTube, promote not only my channel, but helps YouTube also know what channels or what type of content you're interested in, and therefore you'll get recommended other similar channels. And if you haven't noticed, I love promoting other channels because who doesn't like a little publicity for their channel and what have you. And I also love looking out for people. I think everybody can use just that little bit of support, which is why I mentioned Grounded Starseed. By no means am I sponsored by her at all. I just did that out of the kindness of my heart because I really enjoy her cards. They're absolutely beautiful. And, my heart goes out to her for everything that she's doing in her life. And I figure why not share it with everybody else? So, and that's how I am with the channels. So A little bit of information, like I said, that you probably don't know about me. Allergic to the sun. Thank God these are not glass. Really glad these are not glass. When I was a kid, we had this giant Christmas tree one year, and it was tucked in the corner of the living room. And there were presents all the way around it, right? Underneath the tree, behind the tree. And I wanted to see what was behind the tree. And so I don't know if it was just me or if it was me and my brother. But I remember, trying to get back there to see those gifts. And I knocked the tree over full of glass ornaments onto a glass tabletop at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was definitely not the wisest one of my mom's kids. Surprised I didn't get a lump of coal that year. Sorry, Mom. But nonetheless, it was a good Christmas, regardless of me breaking almost every ornament that my mom had. Yikes. Let's make a drink, shall we? Watch my channel, you're actually seeing the real me. I don't know how to put on an act. I don't know how to be anything other than myself. And so that's when I do these videos, that's what you're getting, is you're getting the real me in every single video. Even when I'm doing a skit, that's still me. I like to be funny. I can't help it. So I'm going to be making a hard spiced cider. And if you saw my last cooking video that I made, the chai apple fritters, this is the leftover spice from that. And so I'm going to be using that. I have about a tablespoon of butter here, and I've already put 2 teaspoons of brown sugar in my mug here. And I'm just going to heat up about a cup's worth of apple cider. And I'm not using any fancy apple cider or alcoholic apple cider. I'm just using just store-bought apple cider. And I'm just gonna heat that up gently over the flame here. And to my brown sugar, which is like 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, a tablespoon of butter, I'm just gonna add in a spoonful of my spices here. And so this is cardamom, which you don't typically put in a spiced rum, but there's nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon in here. And to that, I'm going to add just a splash of vanilla. And then I'm going to just use my spoon and I'm going to muddle this together. Well, maybe I'm going to muddle this together. So one of the other things is that typically I'm a very organized person. I think things through, probably sometimes overanalyze things, and generally that works in my favor. The fact that I'm, very methodical, if you will, about things. I like things done a certain way, and I like to be prepared. As you probably have seen in many of my videos, I don't leave anything to chance. I've gotten, a lot of people who have commented about, how prepared I actually am. Some think I'm over prepared. Some probably still think I have a long ways to go. And then there are others that think that I'm more prepared than others. So, and I'm not disagreeing with or necessarily agreeing with any one of them. It's just a matter of what it is. But sometimes I'm not as prepared as I'd like to think I am. And that comes to this recipe. This was a spur of the moment. Oh, I'd like to, enjoy a cocktail. And so I thought, oh, what sounds good? I have some apple cider. I'll just make a hard spiced apple cider. Well, I keep my butter in the freezer. And so I didn't have any thought. So now here I am trying to muddle frozen butter. And if you're not sure or familiar with what the term muddle is, it just means to mix together, basically. A fat and spice, just muddling, So here I am trying to muddle this together. So basically I've just combined the butter and the spices in my cup, and I'm just going to go ahead and carefully pour in my cider. I'm just going to do a little bit right now so I can get all that mixed together. But, you know, as I was saying about what you see is what you get on this channel, I am who I am, and I've always been this way. So when I was growing up, I went to an elementary school. You're going to think I'm super old when I tell you this. I'm not as old as you might think. But I went to an elementary school where girls were still required to wear dresses to school. And I think because of that, it kind of stuck with me. And so I have been wearing dresses for the longest time. Even when I worked in a warehouse, I was still wearing a dress to work. Luckily, I wasn't working on the floor. I was managing the warehouse. But I wore a dress every day to work. Sorry if this spoon stirring is annoying. But I wore a dress to work every single day. And yeah, it did raise a couple eyebrows. It, you know, turned a couple heads like, you know, what's Susie Homemaker doing over here in the warehouse. But I didn't care. You know, I was not out of company guidelines to do so or whatever, but, and it still carries through to today. I am who I am. And, you know, about the only time now that you won't see me in a dress is if I'm out fishing. I'm an avid lover of fishing, and I can't wait to get back to it. Like, I don't know if you saw the interview I did with my son, where he said the one thing that surprises him about me living here is that I haven't done more fishing or gardening, because when I was back in Colorado, that's pretty much all I did. Like in my free time, all I was doing was going off overlanding so that I could find a fishing spot. And sometimes I would drive, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of miles just to get to a new fishing spot so that I could, you know, test the waters there and see how things went. And then when I wasn't fishing, I was gardening. I had a huge vegetable garden back in Colorado. I absolutely love gardening. I had a rose garden, a formal garden in front of my property where I had peonies and hydrangeas and salvias. And I love gardening. My plants can't talk back, and they can't, you know, tell you when you did something wrong. And so I absolutely love gardening. And so now just to this, so I don't get too far off track here, I'm just going to add some rum. Typically, if you were making a hot buttered rum, you would want to add in dark rum, but I actually prefer light rum if I'm going to be drinking a cocktail, and I don't normally drink. So all of that liquor you see up there, it's up high because I truly just use that for cooking and or some homeopathic remedies. But to have a cocktail, this is a very rare occasion. You know, I don't normally do this. If I'm going to drink, it's typically going to be a beer. But I figure, why not, right? I'm opening up to you guys, so have a little drink while I'm at it. Oh yeah, that's good. When it comes to making a recipe, I typically can make a recipe after trying something the first time. Back in Colorado, there's a couple of Greek restaurants that make a dish that's called a toro pot. If you've not had it, I'll make it for you sometime, and hopefully you'll try it on your own. But I'd never had a toro pot before, and what it is basically a Greek burrito, and it has a very unique taste to it. But after having it the first time, I went home and I recreated the recipe from what I remember it tasting like. And then some of my friends who were more familiar with the dish, I had them try my recipe, and they said that it was spot on. They said it was the exact same as what they had been tasting for years at these restaurants. So, you know, that's quite the compliment. But I also know, you know, basically how to adapt a recipe to make it fit with the ingredients that I have on hand, and how to substitute things or how to remedy something if it goes wrong while cooking. So while I might not have skills with paper crafting, I definitely have, you know, I think my skill set's more in the kitchen, if anything. I hope, anyhow. I hope you guys are trying my recipes and that you like them. If you have tried my recipes, let me know down in the comments below. One other part of my personality that you guys might have picked up on is that I'm a type A personality. As I mentioned before, workaholic. I don't like to sit still. I always like to be doing something. I like to stay busy. And that means that I've been known as the kid who runs with scissors. Like, I don't know when to slow down. And so moving to Alaska has definitely taught me a thing or two about learning to take life at a slower pace and to enjoy oneself. Not that I didn't do it when I was fishing and gardening, but it's definitely reminded me that work isn't everything, that there's more to life than just slaving away day after day and watching your life disappear. So with that being said, I want to encourage each and every one of you to live your dream and to not let your life rule you. Let you determine your path and your future, and follow, some advice from Grounded Starseed. She definitely, has embarked on her own path and is making her own way in life, just as I am here in Alaska. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to do the same thing. So with that being said, I am going to enjoy the rest of my cocktail, sit and pet Kenai for a moment, and I will be sure to check back in with you guys next week. I will have more videos out this weekend as well, possibly a couple shorts and maybe another cooking video. There are more holiday recipes to share after all. So take care of yourself and your loved ones, and until next time, remember to smile and live your dreams. And in some spots, in some areas, the foot, me walking on the snow is probably horrible. Crunch, crunch, crunch. That's probably all you're hearing these days. And so I have the availability. Woo! I kind of want to bring a little bit of the, I cannot hold on to these. But just enough to, liven up the cabin just a bit during these cold and dark winter months as I drop pine needles in my eyes.